I can't wait to take this makeup off. Why don't you make like makeup taste good? Like, obviously if you're wearing makeup, you're gonna swallow it at some point. Like, I know you're not meant to, but like if you're wearing lipstick, you can't help it. Like, you might as well make it taste good. Like, you vlog a tip. If you're gonna make your own line, make it tasty. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. We tried to film this video once already. Chloe was too dissociated to do it. It was just all rubbish because Chloe was dissociating too much. If you want us to release that, see what it looks like when you're really dissociating, drop a comment and I guess we'll have a discussion about it. So this isn't Chloe. Sorry, this ain't gonna be as good as probably some of the others. But I'm the one out today and this needs to get done on what you've got. So yeah, this video is going to be about symptoms of dissociative identity disorder, because somebody requested it. We prioritised that for you, so I hope you're happy and that this helps you in some way, even if that's, you know, like not a big deal. Then, you know, even if it's just a little thing, then it's probably a good thing that we've done it, you know. Makes it worth being here, I suppose, doesn't it? Right, first thing is headaches. Now, people with DID generally complain a lot about having headaches that like don't really get better whether you take paracetamol or not, or like painkillers. I don't know what the Americans out there watching or what other places use to get rid of headaches. Doesn't really work, and that's because it's not the same as a normal headache, because the reason we get headaches is because of the like stress of switching out, which is like when one personality like swaps place with the one that's currently fronting. Yeah, that can like give you really bad headaches, and it's pretty grim because, you know, there's nothing really you can do about it. You just gotta ride it out until it's gone. We always refer to that, and we've seen like other people talk about that, and we call it switching headaches. So it kind of feels like your brain's getting squished or like rolled around in a dice or something. It makes you feel really like dizzy and like not with it, and it makes your head hurt. Like if anyone's ever got motion sick and you get that headache and it's like right behind your eyes and like all up in your temples, it's pretty grim, to be fair. Memory loss. There's two different bits that Chloe said I need to talk about. The first one is to do with childhood. I know Chloe said, and we'll say this again probably like over and over again, you're going to get sick of hearing it, but it's like a big thing to do with this disorder is childhood abuse. Basically what happens is a kid gets hurt repeatedly to a point where they can't handle that anymore. Another alter will come forward to deal with that abuse in order to protect the original person who was experiencing it. And because of that obviously happens regularly through childhood, which means that, like anyone with DID, if another alter is out, you're not going to remember anything that happened. Obviously, because the abuse was in childhood and that was like the most regular thing that happened, means that a lot of people with DID don't remember their childhood. Like, not like all of it. Like, some people don't remember anything. It varies, I guess, but like some people like lose just like 4 or 5 years where they've got like no solid memory, like nothing that they can actually recall that happened. And some people literally lose like 10 years, like a decade or more. If you can't remember your childhood, obviously loads of people don't remember their childhood. Doesn't necessarily mean you've got DID, but if it's like really big gaps in your memory, then that's a sign of DID. Can be quite confusing and upsetting to have people always talking about all this stuff that you did or you did back then, and you're like, well, I don't really remember, which can be really upsetting and makes you think like, well, what's wrong with me? You know, why can't I just be normal? And you know, what's the point in living a life when I never know what's real or not, and whether it's actually happening or if I'm dreaming it, you know? it's pretty crap symptom, but yeah, it's all pretty grim to be fair. But yeah, that's the childhood bit. And then memory loss in the present. So I'm not just talking about like, you know, you can't remember some stuff for a test. I'm talking about like losing time, like maybe just like a few hours where maybe it feels like you blinked or you've gone to sleep and you've woken up, like come back to in a different place, and you don't remember how you got there. Maybe you don't even know where you are, or for example, you've just been using something. Like I remember once I was on my phone, was pretty happily on my phone, felt like I was getting a bit dissociated, put my phone next to me and just tried to like breathe through it kind of thing, just kind of like put my mind, like just give myself a break, you know, just like whew, take a minute, and open my eyes back up again, and there was a book in my lap. There were shoes by the side of the bed which I hadn't been using before. I've been outside. I was in pyjamas before, and obviously I wasn't afterwards, and I didn't even know where my phone was. Turned out it was in the coat pocket. Obviously someone else had been out and popped it in the coat pocket and popped off to do whatever they wanted to do. Yeah, losing time is a common one. Finding objects that you don't remember buying or don't belong to you, especially if they're like to do with hobbies and stuff. Like for example, I would remember seeing all this like art stuff popping up all over the place, and that's because Chloe likes to do art. She's always buying new art stuff that, you know, she never uses, and I'm always like, well, where's this come from? This isn't mine, and you know, has someone left something here? What's going on? You know, am I making things up? Am I imagining stuff? Like, am I possessed? DID is not possession, by the way. I know some people think that that's a really cool thing to think and to like, what's it called, those theories that people do? So like Shane Dawson does it and stuff. Conspiracy theories. Conspiracy theories. Yeah, no, don't do that. Not cool, you know. We're not possessed. I know that a lot of people get worried about that, especially if they're from religious backgrounds. Got nothing against people from religious backgrounds. I know it just comes up a lot because obviously it fits some of the stuff people say about like, well, you know, or someone else has got control of your body, you're probably possessed by the devil or something. It's a thing in the brain. It's fine. It's normal. Well, it's like it's not supernatural. You know, you ain't got to worry about that. Talking about like conspiracy theories and stuff, you know, on a Facebook post, and we were all talking about like conspiracy theories and like, you know, what if DID is actually like reincarnation that's got like gone wrong or something, like more than one soul has ended up in one body kind of thing, you know, like something went wrong with the process of like, reincarnation is when people think like you come back as like a tree or another person after you die, like your soul gets like put back in, like redistributed into like other living things, which is pretty interesting actually, because you know, matter doesn't actually, like, you can't destroy matter, like energy. You can destroy matter, but you can't destroy energy. So like, and where does it go after you die? Like, but nah, DID, not possession. It's good. Respect your elders and they'll respect you. Having people calling you by a different name, so like people coming up to you and being like, oh, how are you? You know, like, how have you been? And you're thinking like, who the fuck are you? Like, are you crazy? Or like, do I just not remember you? You know, are you tripping on something? Or is this my fault? Usually it's my fault. It could be that they've met someone. It was you, but it wasn't you, like it was an alter. Especially when we started uni, we'd get people like passing us in the street and be like, oh my god, hi, I haven't seen you in ages, like, how have you been? And you'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, I think you got the wrong person. And they'd be like, no, I definitely know it's you, like, I know who you are. And you'll be like, oh, I'm sorry, but I don't remember you. Where do I know you from? I've got a really bad memory, I'm sorry. And they just think you're really weird and rude and probably think that, you know, you're doing it on purpose because you didn't like them. unfortunately that's just something that comes along with having DIDs, that unless you've actually been introduced, they're not going to remember who you are, because it might not be that you met, you know. Oh, another thing is like sometimes talking with a different sounding voice. The differences between our voices aren't that obvious. Like, I have quite a strong Essex accent. Originally we're from Essex, but our family's like a little bit like not as common as me, like in how we sound. But obviously, like when you're hanging out with people who speak with really strong Essex accents, it's not really that obvious that, you know, you might have switched out. People think you've picked up on that accent. You know, some people switching really isn't very obvious at all. Not like it's done in like the movies, like where you'd be like, oh my god, who are you? You know, you just changed really dramatically. Like, DID is meant to be like undetected, like go under, it's supposed to be like an undercover ninja, like, you know what I mean, like it's a survival mechanism rather than like something that's supposed to be like a big deal and dramatized. Like, it's just the body's way of protecting itself. So we didn't know we had DID. People who knew us didn't know we had DID. Some people like suspected things, and that's quite common, but like it's not necessarily have to be really obvious if you switched out. I'm trying to think of what else now. Some people with DID, their personalities can be quite like really obviously separate. You're not weird if you're not like really subtle with your switching. Like, it's everything's on the spectrum, right? The channel Multiplicity In Me are really, really good. They're like, everything they do is backed up by like science, and like they really know what they're talking about. They're really lovely people. Yeah, check them out if you want to see more of like what a really obvious switching looks like, or if you just want to know more about DID, because they're really good. Like, they've got a really well put together channel, and they've been on some like TV documentaries and stuff like that. It's really, really good stuff. So like, if there's anywhere else you wanted to look, like probably have a look at them. But yeah, like everything's on a spectrum. It's different for everyone. Another thing is dissociation, and Chloe told me not to get too deep into this one because we're going to make a special video for it on its own, because it's like a really big topic and there's like a lot of science behind it, and she wants to like get all the facts right and stuff like that. But dissociation is like, again, on a spectrum. Like, everyone dissociates, but like DID is on like the very far end of the scale. Like, have you ever been driving and then like you suddenly realise that like 20 minutes has passed and you're right near your destination and you don't actually remember driving because you've been on autopilot the whole time? It's kind of like that. Like, sometimes people dissociate when you're watching the TV, or like you might realise that you've read the same page of a book like 6 times and none of it's gone in. You don't actually remember reading it, but you've just noticed you've reached the end of the page. That's dissociating. I remember one of our therapists once said it's like your conscious brain putting its feet up for a bit and just like taking a break and letting your subconscious do like the rest of what needs to be done. But like, dissociating to DID standards is kind of like the lights are on but no one's home kind of thing. Can last for like days, weeks, months, where you just, everything feels blurry, and it's kind of like you're looking through like 10 sheets of cloudy glass in front of you, and you feel like your eyelids are being pulling down and everything's a bit blurry, nothing seems really real. It's really difficult to like actually interact with the real world. It feels like you're being kind of pulled under and nothing around you's real, and it's hard to keep like a train of thought. Like, that's what the other video was like. Like, impossible to like even keep your eyes focused on one thing, let alone keep your train of thought going, because it's just like your conscious mind isn't really like there properly. But there's like a whole big like reason for that. Like, it all makes scientific sense and blah blah blah. If you're interested in all the science and stuff behind it, Chloe's videos are going to be better for you. and Sally if she does new videos. This is more of a simple one. Depersonalization and realization. I'm not really sure how to describe that. We'll probably like put some information below, you know. But I will say, like, it's really hard to feel like your life matters, and you matter when you don't feel like you really exist. Like, how are you supposed to feel real, or like the life you're living is worth living when it doesn't feel like a real life? Like, as in, like, the world outside you doesn't feel real. It feels like you're in a video game, like, and everyone else is NPCs, and you're not really in control of your own actions, like, because you lose so much memory, and like, you don't really know what you're doing half the time. Like, you don't feel grounded, you don't feel real, and it's like, how are you supposed to feel validated as a person when it feels like you're dreaming all the time? You know, how are you supposed to feel worth something when it feels like nothing matters? Like, not just in your head, but like, you touch stuff and you can't really feel it. Like, it feels like you're putting your hand through clouds or cobwebs in order just to get somewhere. Like, and it's pretty grim, and sometimes you see yourself from above and stuff like that. You just feel like you're outside of your body and you've been dreaming. It's difficult to find something to care about when it doesn't feel like you're not really there. You're just kind of on autopilot, you know, doing what you got to do to survive. Yeah, obviously hearing voices, like, you might not realise that you've been hearing voices. Like, I'm sure Chloe will do a thing on that, like how she realised that we were actually talking to her, and she thought it was like her, people say like your inner voice and you're talking to yourself and stuff like that, but you know, it's not the same. Like, how are you supposed to know? Like, you can't experience what anyone else is experiencing, so how are you going to know whether you're hearing voices or it's just what everyone else says? It's like people saying, like, you know, how you see the colour pink might be what I see as green, but like, we've both been told, like, we both point to that colour and we've been told it's pink, but I might actually be seeing what you know to be green. Like, you know, like, how are you supposed to know? It's all subjective and stuff. A lot of problems that come with it physically, obviously, if you've been living with a lot of stress for a long time, or being abused physically or in whatever way, it doesn't have to be physical. A lot of autoimmune diseases are often really like present in people who've got DID. Also fatigue, which is really bad for us. We really struggle with fatigue. It's really grim, like I've said before. All of this is pretty grim, to be honest. It's unpleasant, but it's livable. Oh, flashbacks and PTSD episodes, that's one as well. DID is like the most severe form of PTSD. Oh man, I'm not even going to try and explain that. Chloe will explain that. Again, spectrum, it's the next level up in like terms of severity, like medical severity from PTSD. So having flashbacks of things that happened to you in the past, reliving traumatic experiences, memories that, you know, I said, like, you lose time, you lose memories. Like, traumatic memories will, over the course of like years and years and years and years of work, you know, you might end up reliving them and realising what actually happened to cause you to have DID. Finding handwriting that isn't yours, or like writing that you don't remember writing. And that's about it for now. I think I've done my job. I've done what I can. So I hope this will do. I hope you guys aren't too disappointed that you didn't get your more informative, well put together video, but you got to see me. So who's really the winner here? You guys, I guess. If you're going to subscribe, and please do, because, you know, it'll help us get the word out, and it does mean a lot to like obviously all of us have our different opinions on what Chloe started here, but a lot of us are in agreement in that it's a good idea to get the word out there, and that, you know, we should be doing something good with the life we've got, and we're physically not able to do a lot of stuff that other people would be able to do. So like, if this is something good that we can do right now, then yeah, we might as well do it, you know. So like, your support is invaluable, and yeah, we really appreciate it. So if you're going to subscribe, please do. But also, you've got, for it to work now, like, YouTube has changed everything. You've got to click, like, there's like a bell button next to the subscribe button. But if you're going to subscribe, please click the bell, please leave us a like, you know, let us know what else you want to see, what else you want us to do, because we're doing this for you. So yeah, any feedback, you know, whatever. It's nice to see you guys. It's nice to see how many people we've got who are actually interested in our life and like people like us, and you know, maybe it'll help us actually like reach out to other people like us, because it's full of stigma and hard to find other people who have been through the kind of stuff we've been through. So like, thank you, because you know, you're helping us as much as we're helping you. So yeah, thanks, and I guess I'll see you whenever I next pop up in front of our camera. I don't really know how to end talking to a camera. Bye.